This is Planet Music.
Welcome to Planet Music from the makers of Planet Marzipan.
In a streaming world, we're proud to be a podcast that celebrates the art of the album. Hello, welcome to Planet Music. It's our bi-weekly look at an album. I'm Mezza, I'm here with my good friends.
Craig, and in the middle of cuddling Pepper at the same time because she's absolutely determined to be here.
Yeah. Hi, Pepper. Hi, Craig. And?
Mikey.
Hi, Mikey. And
Grae.
And Grae. It's the usual gang, including Pepper. As you can tell from the title of the episode, we are here to discuss a Bee Gees album from 1991 titled High Civilisation. Full disclosure, whose pick is this?
That'll be mine.
Yes.
And I would say guilty pleasure, but I wear this album on my sleeve. I don't feel guilty about it at all.
Okay.
So that's why it's here tonight.
You will talk about that over the next hour or so. That's good.
I may do.
This is according to Wikipedia, it's their 19th album, is it? I think so. Yeah, it's their 19th studio album.
And the third in the little string of releases through Warner Brothers.
Yeah, the last one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because there was E.S.P and one before that.
Do you want to give us a little bit of a potted history about where the band were at this stage, Mikey?
Yeah, well, this for me is Bee Gees version 3. I think version 1 is everything from the first release in the UK, Spicks and Specks, in 1966, right up until 75. And in 75, they discovered Barry's falsetto, and they discovered Miami, disco, funk, soul music, and that's when songs like Jive Talking and Nights on Broadway came about. So from about 75 up until 1979, when the whole disco demolition thing happened, they were riding high, and then all of a sudden they came a crashing down, and American radio just stopped playing them full stop. So in 1981, they released an album called Living Eyes, which was them trying to pull away from the disco sound, and it absolutely bombed. So at that point, Polydor Records dropped them, who they'd been with since Day Dot, and they went off and did songwriting. They hid for a while. So you've got classics like Dolly and Kenny's Islands and the Stream,
Yeah.
Dionne Warwick's Heartbreaker, Frankie Valli's Grease from the Grease soundtrack, Diana Ross's Chain Reaction, and of course, Barry went off and did the Guilty album with Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
So there was all sorts of stuff going on. They had solo stuff going on. And eventually, after all these hits they were having with other people, they were like, hang on a minute, we could be writing them for ourselves again. So version 3 of Bee Gees came back around in 87 with E.S.P. They had a number 5 single with You Win Again. And although it did really well, a number 5 album with E.S.P. and a number 1 single with You Win Again. And although it was received really, really well in the UK and in Europe, that album only got to 96 in the US. In between that and the next album, One, they lost their brother Andy, who at that point was supposed to become the 4th Bee Gee, and he was going to be on their next album. Another album which was quite critically highly regarded, but only got to 29 in the UK and 68 in the US. And it only got that high in the US because the single One was a dance hit as a 12-inch record. At this point, Warner Brothers had pretty much just stopped promoting them. And during the tour for the One album, Barry started getting arthritis in his back, and he had to have major surgery, so a lot of the tour was cancelled. So in November 90, they took the decision to release a greatest hits package.
Surely that was on Polydor. Was that on Polydor, though?
Yeah, well, it was Polydor and Warner
Few
Brothers
licensed tracks.
licensed two of the tracks.
Yeah.
In later years, those two licensed tracks got dropped off, which were "You Win Again" and "One." So that the very best of Bee Gees, kind of changed over the years with like track changes, one thing or another. But during his sort of like recuperation from his operation on his back, they just went straight back into the studio and said, "Well, look, we've just had an album with greatest hits out. Let's draw a line under it." And out with the old, in with the new was pretty much what they were saying. So literally only 4 months after that greatest hits collection came out, they released High Civilization.
Okay. Well, that's kind of where they were. As is our want, we will start the review of the album with the Wikipedia entry. And the Wikipedia entry says, High Civilization is the 19th studio album by the British-Australian pop group The Bee Gees. Released on the 25th of March 1991 in the UK and the 14th of May 91 in the US. It was their third and final album on Warner Brothers Records, following the release of the successful comeback albums E.S.P and One, and was self-produced by the group in their Miami studio. Recorded with a small group of musicians, High Civilization was the first of two Bee Gees albums recorded with Prince's engineer Femi Jaya, whose preference for hard, loud percussion ensured that the drums and beats are loud in the mix, pushing the Bee Gees' vocal harmonies further back. The album favours a dance style with electronic instruments and studio effects, such as programmed drums and synthesizers, and features an eclectic array of material, including art rock songs and love ballads. The record features high-concept lyrical imagery and themes of romance. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know this record at all. Craig, you'd heard it before, hadn't you?
Oh yeah, I got it on day release and got the singles and all the rest of it because, like Mikey at the time when ESP came out and You Win Again, that was everywhere. You know, that song was everywhere. You know, it redefined them, and I think ESP is a cracking album, and so is One. So I've got like the singles and all the kind of,
and we'll find out what you think of this in a minute, won't we?
Yeah, the paraphernalia from around then, and yeah.
Did you heard it before, Greg?
No, this was entirely new to me, and I hadn't even read the Wikipedia entry, to be honest with you, because I don't know why I didn't, because normally that's how we start. So normally I use that as a reference point for a jump off. If I'd read it, it would have answered a lot of questions about some of the instrumentation and stuff.
Absolutely, it does, doesn't it? Because it starts with the first track, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah. And there's one of the tracks later on, which I'll come back to, which that Wikipedia answers my thoughts straight away, but I'll wait until the track comes in.
I bet your bottom dollar you're going to be like what I thought is like, this is very, very Prince heavy. This could have come off the Batman soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mine's not. My references aren't Prince, actually. It's more Janet Jackson, but
so it's very much Janet Jackson.
Jam and Lewis.
There's one track in particular, and I was like, hang on a minute, that's the keyboards from Raspberry Beret.
Yeah.
Yes, I've
Mikey,
got Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul in there as well.
Yeah, well. Do you want to ask him the question now, Mikey? Sorry, I cut you off in your prime.
No, it's quite all right. So, Craig, how old were you when High Civilization came out on the 25th of March, 1991?
I was doing a Paul Hardcastle. I was 19.
Sorry, you were doing a what? You said I was doing
Paul
a porn.
Hardcastle.
A porn?
Paul
I
Hardcastle.
was doing a porncast. I was doing a porncast.
That's an idea.
That's for Faye, though. That's for Faye's Belgian buns.
Yeah. Faye and a planet Chihuahua.
Oh dear. You were 19 then, yeah?
Yeah, I was 19.
Okay. I think I'm going to get straight into the music and get us off the subject of Faye's buns. The first track on High Civilization is the title track, High Civilization. 5 minutes, 27 seconds. I think we'll go to Grae first, if that's all right.
So this bode well for the album for me. The rhythm's very driving. It's got the instrumentation, although it's synth based and what have you. It's kind of heavier. It's driven. It's not light pop. That the song actually, like I hate a lot of the period of that sort of the 85, 6, 8 to 92, 3 pop stuff that was very synth driven and drum driven. A lot of it became very, very samey. You know, the programmed drums, the huge reverb, all the stuff that became tropes, if you would. And I just like, yeah, I'm not interested. I put this on. I was like, oh, hang on a minute, it's slightly different. And the lyrics are a little bit darker as well. You know, when you consider it, it's like it's not what I would have thought would come from a Bee Gees album. So for me, it was a good start to the album. It was something I thought, oh yeah, this piques my interest.
Okay, Craig, what do you make of it?
I've always loved this song. It's one of the strongest tracks on the album, and you know, we used to have like a wooded kind of thing back in the day, because like the chorus on this, you know, the way that it kind of jumps up and jumps up and jumps up. You know, are you ready for high nation? It's great. But yeah, it's this is very it is very Bee Gees, late 80s, early 90s writing style. It's got lots of your typical Bee Gees harmonies and stuff in there. It's like Grae said, it's a very atypical song, what you would expect from the Bee Gees, but it isn't, because as a Bee Gees album track, it's like, yeah, I get it, it's a Bee Gees album track, and I think it is a good opener.
Okay, it's a strange track. It didn't grab me at all. You don't push the Bee Gees vocals that far down in the mix and bring on the rhythm up for me. It's just mad. It sounds a bit like I think, Grae, I've talked to you about the Mr. Go On album before.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like that, playing over the top, because that's really rhythm based and there's very little else.
There's a lot of Go West Mr. stuff in this album for me.
And Mr. Femi loves the bloody electronic drums as well, doesn't he? You know, and it's all syncopated, and I don't know, it's all falsetto as well. The whole song is virtually falsetto. All the elements are there, but it's like he's put it together in the wrong order for me. You know, if you took the rhythm down a bit and brought the vocals up, it would make it a stronger track.
I think that kind of answers it. Throughout the album, for me, there's something missing for a Bee Gees album, and I love the 75 to 79 stuff. Absolutely love that. Yeah. Where the voice, it's all about the voices, it's all about the harmonies and all that kind of stuff.
Weirdly for me, the longer the album goes on, the more it settles down. There's too much going on in this. The kitchen sinks in this track. It's all over the shop.
Oh, and everybody and their grannies on this one, yeah.
But by the time you get to, I don't know, track 7, they've settled into some sort of a way of working. But I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Mikey, gush about that title track.
It's one of the best tracks on the album for me. And as I've mentioned in previous podcasts, I love drums, I love percussion. So any artist, song, album track that has that, I'm going to be on board. And from the opening second, it's boom, you're off, you're in there. And yes, it is kitchen sink. I have mentioned before that I have a go-to album when I change any bit of tech, which is Tears for Fears, Seeds of Love. The second album I pick up is this one.
Wow.
Because I think the production is so high across the board for me. And it does verge. It's good. I think they walk that fine line between just pushing it too far and getting away with it. And for me, it just about gets away with this one. There's certain bits of this song that I think are absolute genius. I mean, after that second verse when you've got the synthesized voice going, uncivilized. I love stuff like that in songs. It's absolutely brilliant. After the bridge bit, you've got minutes into seconds, are you waiting for the end? And you can just hear the ticking clock going on. which at that point runs until the very end of the track, and you hear it on the fade out. But it's the unexpected elements I love about this track. It's the fact that after that bridge bit, you've got this wailing guitar that comes in from
great solo.
absolute nowhere. It's like, where did this come from? And then from that into like a crowd noise, cheering and such on. There was an earlier version of this song, which was leaked. And it's still available on YouTube, actually. If you search for High Civilization demo, that middle section where the guitars kick in, the crowd noise comes in, they actually had European dictators speaking.
Okay.
Which I think quite rightly they removed it from the track. It sounds a little bit, that was the pushing the button too far with that track. I think they reined it in at the right moment. But one of the other highlights for me is actually, like Craig said, it's the delivery of the choruses. That my, hang, high, hang, civilization. It was just the way it drives. It's just, I think it's just so well produced. It's off the charts. But I love this album from start to finish, so there's not a lot that I don't like.
Okay.
At the end of all this, I'll take you through an alternative track listing, because very late on in the game, they completely changed the running order of the album.
Okay. Let's go on to track 2. Was this the first single?
Yep, it was.
True Confessions was, wasn't
it? Secret Love.
Secret Love's of UK first single, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Grae, what do you make of this?
I can see why it was a single. It's got the Bee Gees stuff in it. It's got for me, this is what I would expect the Bee Gees to sound like. It's because of that, perhaps compared to some of the other stuff on the album, it feels a little bit comfortable, a little bit safe, because some of the stuff on this album really isn't safe. But you can see why it was a single. I like the way it's done. It sounds like the Bee Gees to me, and because of that, I like it.
Do you not think it sounds very much like a single?
Chain Reaction.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as Chain Reaction. Once the intro's kicked in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Craig, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, because I think for me, Secret Love is possibly their weakest single in that whole period from E.S.P. 1 to this, to Sizes and everything. And the whole 1987 to 1997 release of singles between Born As and Back to Polydor. I think this is, like you say, Grae says, it's a safe bet. It's almost a rehash of Chain Reaction without the big chorus. It's just got that sound to it.
Do you think it? To me, it smacks of the record company going, "This doesn't sound like the Bee Gees. This album. You need to put something on it that's more like the Bee Gees."
Possibly, yeah.
I really, really don't know. And it didn't even come out in America as a single. It only came out in Europe. And to be fair, with what we haven't really touched on is when Mike, you were saying about the success level, Warner Brothers, for this album especially, they concentrated their push on the UK and Europe, and that because they knew that the bigger hardcore fan base was in our territories. So that's why they only got one single in America, where we got 3.
Right.
But it's all right. It's like Grae says, it's what you would kind of expect from the Bee Gees, but it's something that they've done before, whereas there's so much stuff that's around this time and on this album that they haven't done before.
Yeah, definitely. It is it's a Bee Gees. I'm not a particular Bee Gees fan. This is what the Bee Gees sound like to me. It's textbook Bee Gees, but it is the way it approaches the chorus. You could just go into You could just start singing Chain Reaction at that point. It is so similar. I can't say any more than that, really. Mikey, defend it.
It was actually written as a tribute to the Supremes. There's no two ways about it. And in doing so, it's ended up sounding like Chain Reaction.
Hmm.
And for right or for wrong, they probably just sat and went, what was the last big hit that we had? That wasn't You Win Again. And it probably was Chain Reaction. And you can't blame them for it, but it does stick out a little bit on the album. And when it came out as a single, I do agree with Craig. I went, what's this? I mean, it was throwaway to me. I mean, in later years, I've come to love it a bit more than what I did when it first came out. But after what I would say the highbrow, high quality singles that they'd released from the previous two albums, this wasn't a direction that I thought they would go in. And funnily enough, it wasn't, because the rest of the album doesn't sound anything like it.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
But it was successful in Europe, this single, though. You know, it got
it got to number 5 in the UK.
So
and as it happens, that made them the second band in history to have a top 10 single release in 4 decades, 4 consecutive decades. The group that beat them to it was Status Quo.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Well, the two things that I love about the song are the really heavy pointed chords that come in before the start of each chorus section. So you've got dum da 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 da, and then after the 4th line of the chorus, you've got another dum. Just the way they accent the chord changes, it's just really powerful. And I think it needs it because, like Craig said, it hasn't got the lift that Chain Reaction does. I think it needed that power to the chords going on in the music. But other than that, it's the guitar work. I don't know how the sound's created, but in the background there's like a tickety tick, tickety tick. It's almost like pizzicato guitar work. I can't quite work out how the sound's made, but it is wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful and so clever. But yeah, it's way down on my list as far as the rest of the album's concerned, though.
Okay, let's carry on then. Track 3, Grae. I don't know if you're in this on this track at all, but when he's gone, yes.
Yeah, I'm back in order now.
You're back in order.
I'm back in line. So this is
Bee Gees
meets NSYNC or N-Dubs or some boy, but it's like the way it when I said at the beginning, the 80s stuff that I really don't like, and the first song avoids it, the second song is Bee Gees, the next song, this is all that pop stuff that drives me up the bloody wall.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird because the song's well structured, but I think it's the same as what you said. It's like they've got everything at the wrong level. They're not focusing on, to me, what is important to a Bee Gees song. They're focusing, and I mean, Mikey, you mentioned it. You said it was the way that they did that thing. You know, they changed their music because of the way the industry was, and you can tell that it is very much of its time.
But is it though? To me, it's about 2 years too late. The peak of this is 88, 89.
Yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah.
They've hit it too late for me. You look at, I mean, for the record for me that I love from this area is Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, which is 89, I think.
89, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a fantastic record.
Yeah.
And this is in the style of that, but not quite in the same class, if I'm honest.
But I think it's because... So the Janet Jackson stuff is built around the rhythm, not around the voice. The voice is there. The voice is there. The voice is... But it's
got other musical elements in it. I mean, it's got Black Cats on Rhythm Nation. Now, that's not like this at all, but it's got a hell of a guitar riff in it.
Whereas... Yeah, that's a really good song, actually. That is a really good song. Sorry. Whereas this is... It's all the rhythmic elements.
They're just whacked up high, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's overpowering for me. Like you said, the song, the album comes back down again as it goes on. It's as if they find their
down,
feet.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just
No,
not my
I mean,
thing.
these two guys are going to say it's fantastic as well. So that's cool. You know, that's the whole point of this podcast is we've all got different views, haven't we? Craig,
Well, I mean,
what do you make of when he's
this
gone?
is interesting because Grace hit something there that I was going to use on my sum up. So I'll bring it forward a little bit there now. Is of the three Warner Brothers albums, because like we say we had ESP in 87 and we had the one in was 189 or was it start of 90?
Very start of 89, yeah.
Yeah, 89. Now
Yeah.
I think both of those albums are a lot stronger than this one, because I think the musicality in those previous two, I've always found the Bee Gees in their career, in their three stages of their career, they've always been quite pioneers. And I think this album, they're not pioneering anything. They're chasing,
They're following, aren't they? Yeah.
they're chasing something that's been around, and I think that's possibly quite a lot to do with the producer. And that,
But they stuck with him for the next album.
but the next album, Size Isn't Everything, is completely different to this.
Right.
You know, it's completely different, and there's some absolute stunning songs on Size Isn't Everything. I mean,
Do you not think that they were trying to sound more American,
Yes,
but because they weren't marketed for America,
yeah,
it
this
didn't
is where
feel
I'm
quite
going with
right?
it.
The
Yeah.
Size Isn't Everything is more European sounding.
Yes, yeah, because also the one is very universal. I think ESP is quite European sounding. One is quite universal. I mean, there's got some beautiful songs on like one and like Tokyo Nights and stuff like that, which we just absolutely love to the hilt. But I think this one is I think they were almost like Mikey said. I think they've been doing so well in Europe, and they wanted to kind of get back into America, and it didn't quite work. So I think that's why they changed back direction again for the previous album. But back onto this
Let's
song.
get back onto this song.
Yeah, and I do love When He's Gone. I think this is a good single, and you've got Robin taking the lead vocals on this one. For once, you know, because Barry's usually kind of who does a lot of front and center. So, but yeah, I think it's like I say, it's very of its time. And I mean, if you see the video of it, it's just like Beverly Hills 90210 in there. It's just it is of its time. But I actually like the song.
Okay.
So I like Mikey. It's a pleasure. I'm not even saying it's a guilty pleasure. I do like the song.
Okay. I'm listening to it as we're talking in one ear. And the outro it's Go West. It's really Go West. It's, you know, the big solos, those drums over the top, lots of keyboard washes. Yeah, it's okay. That's damning it with faint praise there. It is okay. It's not amazing. That's the thing that I'm struggling with. There's I'm just repeating myself. The elements are there. They're not in the right order. Go on, Mikey.
I think the problem with this album is that a lot of the songs aren't particularly single worthy. And as much as I mean, all three of the first tracks are quite Robin heavy on vocals. I mean, he takes the lead throughout on this one, as he does with High Civilization. But the fact that even in America, it was only released on cassette single just tells you that the record company just weren't bothered. You know, they just really weren't bothered. It got to 25 on the UK airplay charts, but didn't even hit the top 100. You know, it absolutely bombed, and I don't understand why. Because I remember that video being on VH1 quite a lot. But for me, the standout on this track and another one when we get further down the album is the fact that it's real drums on this. It's not sequence drums. It's Scott F. Cargo walloping the hell out of them.
Scott Craigo is famous for being the Eagles drummer.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got Lenny Castro on percussion throughout this album, and I think it lends it some gravitas and some weight. for me, this one is pop on surface, but there's like dark undertones going on with the whole thing, and I think that's played out through quite a lot of the album. You think it's a love song, but it's like you will need someone to lean upon when he's gone. It's like somebody sort of like stalking and waiting in the sidelines, waiting for somebody else. There's a definite undercurrent of darkness running through this album, which isn't immediately apparent until you start getting into it. And for me, this song's like literally hinged in two halves. The radio edit basically cuts the last 2 minutes of the song off, which for me is the best bloody bit. I love the outro. I love all the guitar work and the keyboard washes and the stabs. It's absolutely amazing. And I think this album in particular was definitely written for the CD format. No
It is
two
the
ways about.
The first CD album, the first one that focused on CD, wasn't it? For the
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you can tell that by the length of the songs. I think
yeah. Well,
it
and the length of
allows
the
them
album
that.
as well. It's about an hour, isn't it? So
Yes, it's just over an hour, yeah. And I think it allows the tracks some breathing space. And I think where he's gone benefits more from being an album track than a single.
okay. Track 4 is Happy Ever After. Great.
Yeah, unmute yourself. Honestly,
You were
can't
very
take it anyway.
animated there, Greg. God knows what you were
I
saying.
said the obligatory ballad.
Okay.
And you know, I love the start to this. You know, the percussion and the sounds.
The fretless bass as well at the beginning.
It's just gorgeous,
Wow.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what they do well. And Mikey, you picked up on the sort of the triplet delay guitar piece where you had like that. This has got some amazing effects on the instrumentation as well. It's just the way it's done, the way it's put together, and it uses everything to its strength. It's not a song I would go to, it's not a song I would pick to, but it's a strong song for me on this album. Yeah.
Okay. Craig?
Yeah, it is something that you would hand on a plate to somebody like Westlife or Boyzone and all the rest of it, isn't it? You know, they would kill for a song like that.
There's another one coming up that is Westlife.
Yes, there is. Yes,
Yeah.
there is. But I think, you know, like Grae said, I mean, it starts off with the drums, they like the waves, the bass is fantastic on it, and you've got like the little mini cymbals or triangle-y kind of bits throughout. It's essentially this smooth romantic ballad on side one, isn't it? And it's the kind of thing that you would expect from kind of like classic Bee Gees. Is it a bit too slushy? Yes, but it's very, very nice.
I think this is where the album starts for me. They stripped all that kitchen sink away, and this is good, really good stuff. It's a great song, a much simpler arrangement. You can hear what's going on in the song, and it's the best track of the first 4 for me.
Before Mikey goes on, so I think one of the things that I struggle with this is the arrangements are really good. And I think it would have been, so there's loads of synth strings.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been so much better with strings rather than because the synth strings immediately date it. You can tell immediately where they came from.
Yeah.
I think it would have made a huge difference having had that 4-string arrangement.
Definitely. And I mean, Mikey, we talked about it in the previous track, but the lack of real drums as well doesn't help me. It doesn't interest me, all these syncopated drums, and you know, although this track is just drum machine, so it's, you know, Mikey, Happy Ever After.
I think the thing that makes it the fact that it is not real drums, but the fact that there's breathing space for all the other instrumentation on this track allows it to become acceptable. And just there's just so much dreaminess about this. That lapping of the waves that was mentioned at the start. You've got that beautiful sort of like wooden block percussion going through it, little tings going off in the background. And then you've got some of the best Bee Gees harmonies I've heard in years on this. The middle section is just outstanding when you can hear all three of them just doing the just layering over each other.
Unfortunately,
think
you don't
because it's
have
got-
their
I don't
vocal
have
talent,
that, no. not in the slightest.
Just take these pants up a bit.
And like the outro bit, Barry's falsetto just goes off on one, but it's not like eardrum
No,
bursting
it's
annoyance.
really nice.
It's
really
it's
good.
on point, you know. And this track goes on for 6 minutes 15 seconds, and it doesn't feel like it.
No,
You know, it really doesn't. And I agree with you, John. It's the first quote unquote Bee Gees song on the album. But the thing I like about this album is as each track comes in, up to maybe the last 3 songs on the album, which I'll get to, they are totally different from each other. It's the light and dark, like, you know, it's
weirdly,
just curveballs
the last
thrown.
3 are very similar, and I like that. But you know, we'll
Yeah,
come to that in a minute.
absolutely. But I think the sequence of the album has been very, very cleverly thought out, and this song is where it needed to be.
Yeah. If you look at what's either side of it, definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. But the bass line, Craig, I know you said it was getting a bit sort of like sickly sweet saccharine, but the bass work on this saves it from going down that road.
It does. Yeah.
You know, it's just faultless and it's wonderful. Love this track to spare. So
Was this not a single? No,
it was not a single, no.
it'd been a better single than Secret Love for me.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because on my notes, a lot of the songs I've put like impeccable harmonies or fantastic harmonies. That's why I'm not saying it, because there's one thing that they do
yeah. It's
better than
different.
pretty much anyone
Yeah.
is just their harmonies. There's nobody who does it like them, is there?
Okay. Well, things take a bit of a left turn with track 5, which is Party with No Name, Grae.
It's like Harold Faltermeyer met the Bee Gees. It's like something out of an Axel F movie, or so.
Yeah.
It's again back to the kitchen sink.
I wrote 3 words.
Yeah.
Was, not, was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. It's odd because I think a lot of these songs by other artists at the time would have been far stronger. And I think it's just perception for me. I think it's just purely, the Bee Gees didn't write music like this in my head. So I struggle with it. I think if it was another artist, I think we had another album where I said the songs were good if they were performed, you know, it was the Kathleen
Edwards, yeah.
Edwards one. The songs all have something, but it sounds like they're meant for someone else. And I think even the first 2 lines of lyrics, the way they're sung, I'm like, Bee Gees don't do that. And it just it sets me off wrong. I don't settle into the album because of it, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Craig?
Yeah, this is the one where I agree with what Grae said, the style and stuff, but I also had, it just has flashes of Prince's Bat Dance from the Batman soundtrack thing.
Yeah.
Thing with it. But again, that's how it says what we're saying, because that was, I think we're talking production wise and stuff, you know, was 2 years before. I think that the sound of it and the spoken word bits and stuff date it a lot. I think there's probably a much better song in there, Wanting to Get Out, and if they had just followed their own instincts and done it the way, not necessarily how they weren't necessarily wanted it, because they might be happy with it, but I think they're trying something different, so I've got to applaud them for that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it works that well for me. But you know, the bass work and the keyboards, it's all top notch stuff. You can't fault.
Well, it's hidden. The sequencer for me kind of hides the song. The sequencer and the drums hide the song because they're just really high.
But it's almost like they're trying to rework an older style with a newer style. You know, something like from like the 70s, but trying to do a 90s version of it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't quite pin it down, but I do think that's quite a good song in there, Fighting to Get Out, but it's not been one of my favorites.
No, it's not one of my favourites. It's too slight of a song. The melodic hooks aren't there for me. You've got the sequencer that's up high, you've got the drums up high. There's not a great deal else for me. No, I'd pass on this one. Mikey.
Well, I'm pretty much on board with you guys because this was never one of my favorite tracks on the album. I agree with Graham. Just those first two lines where they're delivered, that "Let's get started." It's like, what? Jarring. It
Yeah.
jars. But I think that's the point. The point they were trying to make throughout this album, like I said previously, was it was out with the old, in with the new. You've got elements of old, but it was like they were rewriting the manifesto. It's like, this is what we're doing now, and this is important to us. And I think they were maybe just trying to find their feet. And by the time the next album comes out, they've took there's parts of the album that are further into dance, but they've reined themselves back into the past. With this one, it's all very much 1990, 1991. And I think that's where it's falling down. My reference that I put down was I thought it sounded a bit like Nile Rodgers produced Duran Duran. A notorious kind of time.
Yeah.
And again, I agree with John. There's certain elements of this album which for 1991 do sound a bit dated. They are a bit 1989, 1990. I mean, I love it for that reason. I know it sounds daft, but like, my life was 1989 to 1991, 92, 93, the very latest. But those 3-4 years, seminal years of music for me, was when this album landed. So it's ingrained up here. I think there's definite Michael Jackson influence on here because you get them shouting the odd word in the background. It's not like quite a Michael Jackson, oh, but it's getting there. But for me, it's just overladen with orchestral hits on that Roland keyboard and but the guitar work
Another
again,
big guitar solo on the end, isn't there? Yeah.
it's amazing. It's really amazing, and that makes it for me. But yeah, not one of my favorites. Not one of my
Okay.
favorites.
Track 6 is Ghost Train, Grae.
What the hell?
Hang on, you've said it before.
It starts off and you're like, sorry, where are we going? What's happening? And then it settles. And this is the track for me. If you listen to it, the keyboard part is Raspberry Beret.
Okay.
Seriously,
I'm not
put it on
agreeing
there,
with you,
you can
but
hear,
okay.
You can hear the Raspberry beat. But that piqued my interest. And again, I think it was at this point, listening to it, that I realised what you said about the last track, John. All the bells and whistles and gimmickry that are flying around the album with the samples. It's like, I mean, the start of this song is like somebody found a Fairlight and a DX7 and a Akai sampler and everything, threw them all in a room, bounced them off the walls a bit and just took whatever came out of it. That's what the start, it's just everything's in there. But then it settles down to a really nice song, a really good song. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of weird because the first time I heard it, I didn't appreciate it at all because of what happened at the start. I was like, what the hell? But there are really good songs in there. It's buried underneath some of the production. Don't get me wrong, the production's really well. And I think that perhaps is part of the problem. It's so well produced, you can hear everything. So if you're doing what we do when preparing for these things and you listen to the song, you go, yeah, actually, yeah, there is something there, but there's too much going on about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Craig?
See, I'm 100% with Grae on that because I put on my notes because I mean, obviously, I know the song. I've known it for 30 years plus. My note is the start can just bugger off. It's like, what were they on with that opening? And then it settles down to like quite a standard like poppy rocky kind of song, and it's a really nice track. It is a really nice track, and one thing that Graham hasn't mentioned is the ending. It goes quite Beatles-esque, doesn't it? With like a cacophony ending like that, which works. You know, it really works. I mean, it's about 6 minutes or something. This song, it's on for
just over 6. Yeah,
yeah, and it doesn't outweigh it, but the start doesn't work for me, but the rest of it is great.
Okay. I quite like the start. It sounds like an atmospheric Michael Jackson type track at the begin. The intro and the
Yeah, I get
outro
that.
could easily be on a Jackson
Or
on a
Dangerous
Jackson
or
album.
something.
Yeah, it could be on
Yeah.
that. I think it's a strong track. I like that the chorus is great on this. The song's starting to come through at this point. The album's kind of settling down a little bit, and they've chucked everything into the first part of the album, so they're trying to impress us there. But now we're back to, okay, these are the songs now. You've got this far in. We're going to reward you with some tunes. No, I like it. I think Ghost Train's good. Mikey?
I think this is absolutely amazing. I've always loved this track. The beginning of it, is it the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits, which say anything could happen in the next 30 minutes? You get that kind of sense with the thing. And the thing I like about it is the verses are quite poppy, but then you've got these descending chords which take you into the choruses. The chorus is actually quite dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lyrics which say hearts can break and hearts can turn the tide, all is love and love is open wide, I think is amazing. Don't know what the hell it means, but it's brilliant. And it's funny that they had a song called...
That's word magnets on a fridge, isn't it?
It could be, yeah. Absolutely. But there's these wonderful brass effects, which, obviously the samples, but they're amazing, that go off throughout this song. And before you've got these sort of like, it's almost like an acoustic guitar, which happened in the pre-choruses and stuff. There's a lot going on in this track. It's eclectic. And I agree with the Beatlesy comment, because I said it could be lifted from Sergeant Pepper or the Yellow Submarine Blue Meanie section, the end bit. But it was funny because I listened to the outro today and we had headphones on and I cranked the volume right up. And it's clearly a children's playground that's been recorded. And one of the girls in it says, "Get off me." You can hear her clear as day. And I just burst out laughing. I thought it was amazing. But even the gate closing and Barry going right at the end, it's like bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And it's funny that they've got a song called Ghost Train on this album, because in the next album they've got a Haunted House, so they're probably going to go through the entire fairground by the. But yeah, no, I love this. It's just got so much going for it without it getting to kitchen sink level.
Okay. The next track is track 7, and Morris steps up to sing Dimensions. Great.
I really like this.
Me too.
I really like this, but it's got like a Take That bounce to it. Do you know what I mean? I know that's it's another song that I think they could have written for someone else, but they do this one really well. Whether it's Morris's voice, it's a bouncy, happy pop song. It rides the line between crass and really good pop really well. I think for me it's one of the highlights on the album. Not crass. I don't mean crass. I mean like that kind of throwaway pop. It does it really, really well. And I think the production on it, I mean, don't get me wrong, again, it's got the whole album for me suffers from Nothing Is Real. Your horns, your strings, your bass, everything's all synth, and it dates the album. But the songwriting's still there. The production is off the charts, really, when you think about it. And this song's really good.
Okay, Craig.
This is one of the tracks that does remind me of Paula Abdul's Opposites Attract. But
yeah.
In
this is
sound
James Lewis. This track. There's no getting away from it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you're talking Morris on the lead vocals. It's like I say, like breathy vocals. It's more like quite spoken, not his normal full range that Morris can do, and I think he's holding back on it. But I think it's really nicely atmospheric, but I think on my notes as well, I've put like what Graham said. about the synthesized guitar and stuff like that just dates it terribly. It's funny because I think if this album, if they decided to relook at it now and re-record a lot of the instrumentation, it would knock a lot of it out of the park because, like Grace said, some of the songwriting on here and the lyrics and stuff.
To be honest with you, I think if they remixed it, it would do it. They wouldn't need to re-record it. They remixed it, rebalanced it.
It's gagging to get back into it. Well, to be fair, their entire back catalogue needs looking at. It's been sorely neglected. Really has.
Yeah, they are due. I mean, for the giants of the music industry, which they actually are, I think a lot of the labels should give them a bit more respect and relook at the catalogue and give it what it deserves.
The campaign starts here.
Go on, Mikey. Yeah. Get your signs out.
I really like Dimensions. I think it's good. It really is Jam and Lewis. There's no getting away from it. It's stuck in the late 80s. But it's very like the stuff that I like from that sort of era. And I can see what you mean about the Paula Abdul thing, Craig. It's, yeah, I think it's good. Mikey?
This is one of my top 2 favourite tracks on the album. And I love Morris's singing. I always have done. Every single Bee Gees album where Morris gets to shine, his songs are always stand out for me, every single time. Even the 5 synthesized stabs that start this song off, just make your hair flap in the wind. Well, it would do if you had any hair. It's Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul in spades for me. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love the fact that the bass plays the melody through this song. It's a very bass melody driven song, and it just makes it feel as much as some of the parts of the album seem a bit repetitive. It's things like having a bass-driven melody in this song make it stand out from all the others, because you haven't got a keyboard doing the melody, you haven't got vocals doing the melody. It's bass work, and I think that makes it really, really special for me. I love the reversed sound effects for the keyboards near the start as well. And I'll also say, Craig, but those 2 slightly sampled electric guitars in the middle, I think are absolutely amazing. At 2 minutes 35, they kick in and it's just screeching and wailing. I think it's brilliant. And the keyboards behind them are quite dark and foreboding as well. And the thing that I love about this song, and I love it to spades, is the fact that it's practically got 2 endings. You think the song's going to naturally end, and then it just hangs, and you've got this sort of like keyboard, atmospheric stuff going on, and then it kicks back in again for another minute.
But then it does just end, doesn't it?
And then it just ends abruptly. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's very nearly my favourite track on the album.
Okay.
And that's a coming up.
Righto. Track 8 is The Only Love, Grae.
So this belongs at the end of an 80s movie. It's one of those lift up, happy sort of, you listen to the verses are all nice, they're like kind of laid back, it's just the easy bass rhythm and all that kind of stuff, and then the explosion of the chorus with the vocal harmonies, the whole production lifts. It's like one of the Peter Cetera songs from all the movies in the 80s that like and all the stuff out of John Hughes movies at the end. It should have been massive. It's a high point on the album for me, and yet it's one of the simplest. It is, but it's because I think that's because it's one of the simplest productions on it. It showcases for me what I like about the Bee Gees: the simplicity and the harmony.
Okay, Craig?
Yeah, Grae's right on this. I mean, I do think that, this was a single, and I think it should have possibly been even the first single, because they bring out the big guns on this, because this is a big proper like power ballad for the Bee Gees, isn't it? I mean, it's like, come on, guys, let's get the big cannons out. And I think, John, I bet you're about to say this is boy band fodder,
It's
isn't
fucking
it?
Westlife, mate. This is
It is.
made for Westlife. There's even
Oh,
a point
yeah.
where they get down off the stools for the key change. It's it's fucking awful. Quite frankly, I hate it.
I think it's cracking. It's cracking. It's something that they could make millions out of on the X Factor and all that kind of stuff. It's,
No, this is the sound of nails down a fucking blackboard for me. This it's fucking awful.
I've got to say, cheesy as fuck, but I love it.
Okay, sorry.
How did that cat get over there from there?
Teleportation.
Is that Wilkie or Skiba? I can't see, but we
Oh, that's Skiba.
That's Skiba. There you go.
I just don't like this at all.
Could never have guessed.
I don't. There's 5 minutes 32. I'll never get back. Mikey, defend this.
This is my favourite track on the album.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just as a bit of factoid, it was only released in Germany.
Of course it was.
And Morris's daughter is pictured on the sleeve. Anyway, this song breaks me in half every time I hear it. It really, truly does. And I agree with your Westlife comment. It was 7 years too early for them. But somehow they invented that boy band standing up from the stools moment before it was invented, which puts it way ahead of its time, John. Nothing was done like this.
There's a reason for that.
All.
There is a reason for that, Mikey.
The piano and bass opening alone, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's faultlessly delivered. I think the singing is impeccable. It's anthemic, and I love it. And I think the fact that Scott on the drums again makes it for me. I think the live drums on it really, really help elevate the song. And I think Barry's on top form. I really do. I'm just going to read the lyrics out because it's making me upset now.
Me too.
It goes for different reasons.
I'm listening to it in a minute. It's making me upset.
So we agree to let each other go. No long goodbye, just your way and my way. And I can stand how you cried to be free. High as the wind blows, but not enough to bring you home to me. And only lonely knows. You see my open arms, you know my flame is burning, but I'm too blind to see the end has begun. I just think it's absolutely wonderful. I really do. And there's something about it, which kind of reminds me of like old Gene Pitney or Roy Orbison stuff. And I think as well as like a Phil Spectoriness to it, that dum 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 like rhythm delivery of it. I honestly, I know it's probably the second of the two songs on here that people would expect from a Bee Gees album. And it probably is another one that stands out like a sore thumb on this album. But I think it's faultless. I think it's absolute genius. I really do. And it breaks my heart.
Okay. Track 9. Track 9 is Human Sacrifice.
Yeah, can we? Any song that has the word womanifestation needs to be banned. It needs to be thrown into a crypt somewhere. Oh my good God. But Craig, for me, this has Prince's Batman soundtrack all over it. The way the sound is,
yeah,
the rhythm, the way it's done, even the way I don't know who does the vocals on this one.
They're all Barry from here on. From Westlife onwards, they're all Barry.
There's he doesn't sing like Prince, but there's a Prince inflection to the way he does the lyrics. That this to me, again, it's one of those songs. I think if Prince had done it, it could have been huge. it's quite a surprise actually. The song, it's not, but the lyrics for me are just fucking shocking. But yeah, I love the production on this song. I think it's really quite interesting.
Okay. Craig?
Yeah, that interesting is definitely a word I'd use for that. I've got me a bit of Bee Gees meets a bit of Prince on there, so I definitely agree with Grae there. And it's I've got on a bit of drum and bass, hip hop with funk, just compiled together, mixed in that. Yeah, what you can do to the start of this song though, if in the intro and that, if you think of the song "Groove Is in the Heart," you can actually sing along to the start of that to the lyrics of "Groove Is in the Heart." Don't know where that came from in my head, but it just did. God knows what's up there rattling around. But yeah, I'm expecting a quip now from John about a human sacrifice because it's.
You know how negative I was about the last one? I think this is great. I love this. It doesn't sound like the Bee Gees at all, but it's great. Yeah, I mean, it's back to that Jam and Lewis R&B sort of style production. It's funky. I mean, we'll gloss over the lyrics. It was quite a while ago. I like the end of the album. These three songs at the end, I really like. It's taken me a while to get here, and I have to sit through Only Love to get to it. But I think this is great. Mikey.
Yeah, these last three songs for me kind of belong together. And I think they're stronger because they are together. I think they work so well. It's like that Cure Disintegration with the first three songs belong in a suite. I think these do here, and I think they finish the ending perfectly. Um, Interestingly, I think the drums at the very beginning sound identical to the ones that Pet Shop Boys used in Being Boring. And the fact that there's some whistling going around on the background as well, as there was in Being Boring, it could be a complete coincidence that it was a year after them, or it could be just a keyboard sound. Who knows? I think the fact that it's quite a funky driven thing following on from The Only Love gives it again it's them curves that this album keeps throwing at you. There's so much going on, like vocalizations on in the background. The percussion and keys throughout this track are amazing, and even refrains like them shouting "human" in the background just give it something different. It doesn't sound like the Bee Gees. It really doesn't, and yet it does. And it's another long track which it's been allowed to just naturally play out instead of being faded out quickly or ending too abruptly. I think it's really, really up there. It's another one of my favorite tracks of the album. I think it's absolutely ace. Really do.
Okay. Track 10, penultimate track, True Confessions. Great.
So this has so I think it's the Soldano Slow 100 guitar amp, heavy metal, really, really, really distorted intro guitar, which was all over pop records. And I love that amp sound. I love the start to this. I think it's amazing. And again, I think once it starts, when we hit the vocals side of things, I get a very Prince vibe in the way it's done. The syncopated rhythm of it, the breaking up of words, the way it's almost spat rather than sang, the bits of it. Then you get the pre-chorus, which lifts it a little bit. I think you're right, John. I think these last three songs kind of lift the album to, you know, overall. I love the first track. There's a couple of songs in between that and these three which I like, but whether it's the Prince vibe or something else, there's something about these songs that really, really flicks my switch. And this, it's not what so from the intro to the way it drops and you go don't. But there's a keyboard sound in the song which distracts me to hell because it's what's this? There's a song that goes do 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 do, and there's a keyboard part in this that makes me think it doesn't do it all, but it does enough of it to make me go oh, and it throws
Herbie
me
Hancock,
complete.
wasn't it?
Pardon?
Was that Herbie Hancock?
Yeah, yeah,
Rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just so about 51, 52 seconds, you hear this keyboard part, and then it goes dit 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 dit. And it just makes me think it, and I can't unthink it now. It's like
Okay, Craig, what do you make of True Confessions?
Yeah, I like the intro where you've got the synth and the screechy guitars kind of merging into each other, and it does have, you know, your very late 80s, early 90s pop funk vibe. Again, this reminds us a bit of your Janet Jackson type track and Paula Abdul a little bit musically, but with the Bee Gees vocals and lush harmonies as ever. It's quite a mashup, this one. Interesting track. You know, it's nicely made. It's not actually one of my favorite tracks on the album, but it's solid.
Yeah, I think if the album was more like this, I would like it a lot more. If it was more like these three at the end, because they seem to have found a bit of an identity, whereas you're all over the shop with the others. You know, it jumps from one to the next to a completely different. There's no flow to it really. But I think True Confessions is great. Much like Human Sacrifice, it's got that R&B flavour. As Grace said, the vocal delivery is quite different for them. You know, it's not. It's more about the way the words are said rather than the way they're sung, so to speak. And it fits with that syncopated rhythm. Yeah, great. Mikey?
This was the track that was omitted from the vinyl because it didn't fit. And I think it's a crime because I absolutely love this one as well. This, to me, I know you've mentioned Prince in previous songs, but for me, this is the only song on the album which I think sounds anything remotely like Prince. And I think it's that keyboard sound. But the guitars on this are almost getting into Slash territory, aren't they? And what do you call that wooden instrument that's like a wooden block with the grooves on it? It goes. Is it a gyro?
A zither.
Is it?
No, not the zither. It's the gyro. The
gyro.
Oh, the gyro. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I love that all the way through this. I think it's brilliant. Sends shivers down my spine. It's weird and wonderful. Yeah, I love the fact that there's so much lyrics in this and the way it's really quickly delivered. And you've got another, what I will call Bee Gees moment with that middle eight when he does the whole "my gun is loaded and I'm ready for war," and it just goes up and up and up into Barry's falsetto territory, and it just blows my top of my head off. It is absolutely amazing. Yeah, like I say, these last three tracks are outstanding, and this pops it up in the middle. I think it's brilliant.
Okay, last track on the album is Evolution. Great.
So, right at the start of it, you said that the album it takes them a while to find the balance. It takes them a while to find what they're doing. I think this song is the best example of mixing that modern sound that they were using, the studio technology, their vocals, because it's got that syncopated rhythm stuff in it. It's got the different vocal delivery in the verses, but then the pre-chorus and the choruses and the bridge, it's all about the Bee Gees harmonies and the way it's done and the depth and stuff. This, for me, is the payoff for the album, because it's got that balance right between all the trickery that they were trying to do, all the modern stuff, and how the Bee Gees write music. Because the song comes to the fore on this one. It is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think my favourite song on the album.
Oh, wow. Okay. Craig?
Yeah, again, as I've been following all the way through this album, I agree with Grae with a lot of the stuff straight on it. I think this isn't a great departure. I think it's it's what it needs to be, and I think John's probably going to agree with that. I think it fits right. I don't feel like it's an actual particular album closer of a song.
I've written the same thing. It's not an
Yeah.
album closer. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not an album closer. It's an album track, and it would
yeah.
fit anywhere earlier on in the album. And I think I'm not saying it's formulaic, but it has a formula that works. Just like what Graham was saying,
Yeah.
it's what it needed to be, and it's correct. It's got really nice atmospheric keys throughout, and it's got nice driving bass, but I think it's funny because considering how earlier on in the album it's very, very percussive, this track isn't as percussive as I think it possibly needed a little bit more to finish the album off. But it's a lovely track,
I
but
think it's
not an album closer.
I think it's better for not having all that percussion on it. I agree with you. It's not an album closer, but I agree with Mikey and Grae in that these three tracks at the end work together well.
Yes, I do.
As I've already said, the album would be better if it was more like these three for me. But Evolution isn't a closer. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself. Yeah, so I like it. I like it. Mikey.
What I really like about this is the fact that the choruses are in a minor key and the verses are in major. And I love the way that they do descending chords into the choruses. I think it's just so clever. Absolutely outstanding work. It's funky as hell. The synth work is amazing. The bass work's amazing. And I think because that percussion's been stripped away, you can hear all that. And I think the thing that I like about it, and the only thing that I think allows it to become an album closer, is that almost cyclic way that the choruses go on, where you've got the callbacks for each line. It's a form of evolution. It's a kind of it's repeating the lines, and there's something about the way that the synths go on. It's almost like you've got this eternity thing going on where this track could have gone on forever and never ended. And I think that allows it to become an album closer. But for me, any one of these last three songs could have closed the album. And it's quite interesting because even on its original lineup, Evolution was still the album closer. But yeah, I can't fault it. I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Okay, well that's all 11 tracks on the album. Do you want to give us a couple of minutes on the original running order or the alternative running order?
So while Barry was laid up with his bad back, they actually wrote most of this album when I think they weren't expecting to be able to write it. So it was actually written in 1990 in its entirety. They just held it back because of the Greatest Hits collection. So it's funny that we've mentioned it sounding more 89, 90 than what it does 91, and that's probably why. So the original album track running order was Human Sacrifice, When He's Gone, Secret Love, Ghost Train, Dimensions, Party with No Name, True Confessions, High Civilization, The Only Love, Happy Ever After, and End with Evolution. Don't know if that's any better or worse than what we got.
I don't know. I mean,
They've still ended with Evolution.
There's a piece on the Wikipedia entry about somebody feels that they've changed they've lost the lyrical thread of the album with rejigging the tracks into the order that they are. Do you agree? Would you agree with that?
It has been alluded to that this is the closest that they've come to some sort of concept album. The concept was Secret Love, or things wrong with love, or people hiding things from love. So I think the idea was that this guy's living in his head. He's fantasizing in his head And each of these songs represents a different part of where his head was going with these crazy thoughts about love that he had. How true that is, it's never been properly documented. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's entirely true. But I like the album where it is. I think you've got that quite eclectic start. You've got twists and turns at every point, and it ends solidly. I think I'd rather have that than an album that peters out into a mess. You know, I think there's so many classic albums out there where you've got all the amazing stuff on side one and some absolute dirge on side two. And I think this, because it's a CD album and not a vinyl album, I think it allows that to happen. I think you can dive in at any point and you're not going to lose anything by rearranging these songs into a different order.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like it the way it is. Thanks very much.
Okay. Well, just going to ask you a couple of sentences to sum up what you made of the album. I'll start with Grae, who didn't know it before we played it for this.
It wasn't what I expected. It's well written, well produced, but for me it suffers in not making. For me, the Bee Gees are all about the vocals and the harmonies, and there's not enough of that to carry the change in direction for me.
Okay. Faye's just gone to do a makeup, so I will chip in at this point and say I think it's a really eclectic album. Will I pull it out again? Probably not, if I'm being honest. But I would recommend you having a listen and see what you make of it. It really isn't what you think of the Bee Gees if you're not a fan. Craig, we're just asking for a couple of lines on you summing up the album overall, just a couple of sentences.
Yeah, because I had to disappear because I've got an old man's bladder.
You've done your you went to do your makeup, I've just told the listeners.
No. That's later because I've got to get the suspenders and everything ready first. From the period of 87 to 97, I think this is not the strongest of their albums in that period, but I've always had a really, really soft spot for this album. I think that it should have done better for them than it did, considering you got a top 5 single out of it. But we actually had this conversation in my last album episode when Julian Lennon, when his single got to number 5, but the album did absolutely nothing. So I think getting a number 5 single is possibly a curse.
Okay, Mikey, 3 sentences.
I think they were still suffering from the shackles of the Bee Gees that was.
Yeah.
And until 1997, when they got the Outstanding Achievement Award at the Brit Awards and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, until that year hit, they were still very much poo-pooed on. And I think, unfortunately, this album falls into the naff Bee Gees territory, and I will fight to my grave to say that this is one of their strongest albums in that period, Craig. I think the albums either side of it, yes, are good, but they are definitely still songs that I would happily skip over, and I will not skip a single track on this album. If you think you know what the Bee Gees are about, you're wrong. Listen to this. It's not what you think.
And that's way more than 3 sentences, Mikey, but thank you for that.
But I think it's a crying shame. I think me and Mikey both feel that we wished we'd got to see them live, but we never did.
Yeah, I wish I'd seen them on this tour, actually.
Yeah.
Kicking myself.
Yeah, it's one of those things I really wish we'd done.
Well, that's what we think of High Civilization. What do you think of it? Join the discussion on our Facebook group, Planet Marzipan Presents Planet Music. If you enjoy the podcast, please like and subscribe it. It just helps us to get to more people. But thank you very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our Christmas special.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yes. All that remains to be said is thank you very much to Graham Tennick. He's muted himself again. Can't hear me. He's muted himself again.
He's Technology. Thought that was bad.
Technology baffles me. You wouldn't think
Yeah.
I worked in cyber, would you?
Not really.
I said thanks for having me, and Mikey, thanks for the album. It was an education.
Thank you. Thank you, Mikey.
Thanks again, guys, and thanks for indulging me.
That's all right. And thank you, Craig.
Why, thank you, young sir. Are you limbering up ready for your weekend upcoming?
I am. Yeah, let's talk to you about that in a minute.
To Utrecht.
All that remains to be said is good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
Go on, Grae, while your mic's off.
And stay alive.
Yay!
Or don't you mean we're staying alive?
Oh.
Thanks for listening.
To Planet Music from the makers of Planet Marzipan.
If you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe, and maybe even join our Facebook discussion group.
You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com.